line?
Oh, yes. Here.
It's behind though.
Yeah, it's live. Welcome, everybody. We are going to wait a couple minutes before we start, maybe 2 minutes or something, so that more people can connect, and we'll begin introducing ourselves.
Let me just I'll open it up here so I can see on the phone.
And also, if you have any questions so far, please feel free to comment on the comment section. We'll be answering questions later in the video. 17 people already, and we haven't even shared it either.
But it's behind.
It's lagging. Yeah, when it's live, it goes live a couple seconds later. So. Okay, let me do a couple sharing.
We have 20 people watching.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll begin in a couple minutes.
Hola, Javier nos manda saludos. Hola, Javier.
There's already people.
Okay, we have questions. I can look at them. Okay. We should start.
20. Okay, so we're ready to begin. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. For those of you who are already posting questions, my name is Lidia Arevalo, and I am a DACA recipient from El Salvador, and I work at the CMC at the California-Mexico Study Center. And also,
hi, everybody. My name is Citlali Ortiz. I am also a DACA recipient and a student here at Chelsea Long Beach. I'm also part of the CMC. We hope we're able to answer all of your questions today. I will be checking the questions on my phone so we can answer them.
Hello everyone, my name is Mara Garibo. I'm also a DACA recipient. I'm part of the staff here at the California Mexico Study Center. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'm from Sinaloa. And today we actually have a special guest that was a participant from the summer 2017 program.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Nava, and I'm a DACA recipient. And like she said, I participated on the DACA program on the summer.
thank you. Perfect. Thank you for being here with us, Jenny. Before we begin talking about the Winter 2020 California-Mexico Studies, California-Mexico Dreamers Study Abroad program, I would like to give you all a little bit background of the CMSC, what the organization is, and also about the different programs that we have done in the past. The California-Mexico Study Center is an organization that is based in Long Beach, California, and it focuses on like interactions and student exchange and programs, international programs between Mexico and California and the Western Hemisphere. And we have done about 6 programs for the study abroad program for DACA recipients since 2014, when Professor Armando Vázquez Ramos took the first 2 DACA students to through his California State University Long Beach class. That was the first time that they tried the advanced parole permit. They came back, and once that worked out, Professor Armando created a second class with all DACA recipients through the university. And from there, we have evolved, and we have done 6 other programs in 2015, 2016, 2017 was the last one that we did in the summer before DACA and advanced parole was rescinded. So now we are here today, and we're launching the new program, which is the Winter 2020 program. And we're gonna have Citlali and Mayra talk about the kind of like the program overview.
Yes. So like I said, I see everybody's comments, and we will go ahead and answer those questions as soon as I do the overview of the program so we can understand a little bit more about that. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the description, the location, and the dates of travel. So to begin, the travel dates are from December 15th all the way to January 19th, which is the day we will be returning as a group into the US. From December 15th through January 7th, that is independent travel. Independent travel to your birthplace. If you're Mexican, to visit, your family that you have there. During that time, you will be alone. It is time that you will travel by yourself to that place. After that,
Get a little bit closer.
oh, maybe closer.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can't hear us. Can everybody hear us? I think they can. Okay. Sorry. So from December 15th to January 7th, it's independent travel. Everybody is responsible for their travel time during that time. So if you are not able to join December 15th through January 7th to travel independently, that is completely fine. However, we do require that you join us on January 8th all the way through the 19th. Those are very important dates because that is when we will be doing activities as a group. And that is when the study abroad program really, takes place. From January 8th through the 12th, there is a historical and cultural immersion in Mexico City. So we're going to be in Mexico City during that time frame. And then from the 13th through the 16th, we're going to be doing the academic program at CILAC in Cuernavaca. Those are all really important dates. And then after we're in Cuernavaca, we're going to go ahead and go to Tijuana to a COLEF seminar. We're going to do a border field trip, and we're also going to have group therapy sessions. We're doing all of this at that time. So the next day, after January 18th, on January 19th, is when we will be returning to the US through Tijuana, through Perwest, and we're going to be returning as a group. So that is just a little bit of, the program description and all of that, the timeline.
May I interrupt real quick?
Yes.
I just want to do a quick clarification that when people are taking off on December 15, when you're traveling, you will be traveling by yourself directly to the place of birth. So, for example, Mayra, you're from Sinaloa. So Mayra would be traveling directly on December 15 to Sinaloa, do her independent travel and ethnographic research. And then on January 7, she will join the rest of the group in the Mexico City area where the program actually will begin. So that's independently. And then on our return to the United States, on January 19, everybody as a group will come together because there's safety in numbers, and that's how the program that we have established has worked for the past 5 years.
Another thing to mention for the family time, the independent travel, you can travel with a family member or friend to Mexico as long as you guys are able until you can join us for January 7th. That would just be on your own. So you can definitely travel to Mexico with a friend or a family member as long as you are able to join our group just yourself on January 7th.
Okay. And then I also see that there are a lot of questions. So we will go ahead and start answering some of them before we move on to the next section, just so everybody stays engaged. So I see that there is a question from Reina Palacios. It says, even if I submitted my application yesterday, that wouldn't be put into account until the person that is doing the leader of rec does it. I think the question is misspelled, Reina, so if you could just retype it up and we will go ahead and reread it right now. Then I see another question that says, how is this available with no advance parole for DACA recipients? So we're going to go ahead and answer that question right now. So, due to the SCOTUS decision that redid DACA and allowed us to, submit the applications, we decided, that the Supreme Court ruling states that new applications are supposed to be accepted by USCIS. So according to the new ruling, everything is supposed to be reinstated as it was back in 2012 when the original DACA was granted. So due to that, advance parole is supposed to be reinstated. I don't know if you want to follow up.
Yeah, well, the only thing that we're waiting for now is for the USCIS to actually make an announcement or to change their language on their website, because so far they have not yet updated their website. They still have the language that they used when DACA was rescinded and stuff like that. But technically speaking, we have two courts. Well, we have the Supreme Court already, the ruling, and the federal court in Maryland. So, and they're pushing, USCIS and the administration to continue to accept new applications for DACA recipients and also advanced parole, as the program was before September 5 of 2017. So we are using that as a backup, and we're doing this program in advance. However, we are not going to ask anybody yet to submit their application. We're going to go through a process of interviewing and making sure that participants are safe to travel and safe to apply for advanced parole permit. And then we are giving ourselves a deadline of September 15, I believe, where we're hoping to have heard from USCIS or something else comes up. But if we do not hear from USCIS, we're gonna still continue to wait until it's safe to apply, because obviously we understand that people are gambling their money, right? So we are here to support and also to expedite the process.
Thank you. Okay, so then we have another question that says, how many applicants will you be accepting? And the second question is, what if COVID-19 cases rise again and they close the border while we are in Mexico? What would that look like? And this is from Sari Mendoza.
So we're accepting as many applicants as we can. Our deadline is July 31st. So anyone who would like to apply can apply. And when it comes to COVID-19, one of the things that that's even like before we're out there, right? So we are actually expanding the time frame on the advanced parole permit. So if the program usually ends on January 19, we are having the permit extended to the time frame where it can go through summer, because I know that's a big concern for everybody. Say there was a wave to hit around December time and we're not able to make it to the trip around December. So what we thought of doing was extending the permit time so we can travel around like spring semester or summer session too. And I know that say that we were out there, one of the most important things that the CMSC is doing right now is that they're actually going to have a doctor on call. And also they're taking things differently when it comes to room and board, so we can be as safe as possible. And even if you want to apply for the program, you actually have to get tested. We want to make sure that we're not risking other participants when we are doing this, so you actually have to get tested. I think in regards of like what would happen if we're actually over there and they close the borders, obviously like we would have to cross that bridge when we get there. But every single thing that the CMSC is doing for that is taking as many precautions as possible, because we know that this is a very serious matter, and that's what we're already taking into consideration prior to even going. We're already thinking about what can happen.
Yes, I just want to add on to what Mayra said right now. Basically, we are also planning like a summer 2021 program in case this winter program has to be canceled because of COVID-19. But once we actually fill out the application forms for advanced parole, we're gonna, like Mayra said, we are going to extend the time frame that we asked for the permit until like August or September of next year. So that way, if the winter 2020 program has to be canceled, we can extend within the same application or permit. We can use that for the other program. And then in case prior to traveling, like Mayra said, we have to do testings before we go, but also testings in Mexico before they join the rest of the group once they have done their independent traveling.
The question is, what will happen if there are new COVID restrictions while in Mexico and allowing us to come back into the US?
That's a good question. So
I think that like everybody's saying, that's why we're waiting to see if there's anything new right as of now. And obviously we're going to be checking until it gets closer to the date. But of course, there's still a lot of uncertainty due to the pandemic.
Yes, but if everything goes right to plan, and we have advanced parole permits that go all the way to September of 2021, if that was the case, at least legally speaking, we're not in trouble in the sense that, oh, because of COVID, Mexico, we cannot come back. We are not going to be allowed back. Yes, we will be able to try to cross the border whenever it's safe, but our permits are going to be still valid.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. And now moving on to the next question from Pedro Leon. It says, thanks for the Q&A. And what happens if we are all in Mexico City doing the activities, and let's say on January 14th, whoever is the president cancels the DACA program suddenly, just like they did in early 2017? What is the game plan then? Thanks.
I can answer to that actually. So one of the things that we're gonna have participants, that we are having participants do, is reach out to their congressional representatives. I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but the California Mexico Study Center was able to help out students that were stuck in Tijuana when they accidentally crossed. So we have been doing several trips to Washington, D.C. to advocate for advanced parole. And a lot of representatives that are members of Congress are on our side. So if something like that was to happen, then definitely I feel like the most important thing is that we're gonna reach out to our Congress members, because we have really great relationships. You know, they are here to support us. And that is basically our main thing that we have done in the past. One of the main Congress members was Lu Correa. He was able to get them across back safely. And basically the CMSC has been doing that. You know, they have an amazing relationship where they can go ahead and advocate for other cases. And even for the program that we had for advanced parole for the humanitarian reasons, we had letters of support from Congress members that helped to the cases.
Another thing that I do want to mention about this is that that has been the risk all throughout, I guess, all programs. I should have said this a little bit before, but I have actually traveled about 7 times to Mexico. I've been part of every single one of the California Mexico Study Center programs. And that has always been a factor. In the same thing with an advanced parole permit, it always says a warning, you know, it is up to the discretion of the CBP agent or whoever's gonna, you know, see you at the port of entry. So it has always been a factor, and it has always been a risk. And that's why our program, in a way, it is inviting people who are willing to take a risk, right? So far, nothing has gone wrong in our cases, in our programs. Even in the last program that we did, when Jenny participated in the summer 2017, it was already under the Trump administration. And we all were fearful of what's going to happen. Is Trump going to get rid of DACA? You know, actually, we came back about a week and a half before, or 2 weeks before they actually rescinded DACA. But so that's a risk factor. But, you know, I just wanted to share that.
I see that we have a lot of questions right now, and I think somebody said they can't hear me. But we are going to go ahead and let Jenny speak a little bit about her experience traveling abroad with the California Mexico Study Center. She was a participant in the summer 2017 program. So we want to give her some time so she can share, and then we will be back to answering some of your questions. So please stay tuned. We're going to continue answering questions.
Yes. So thank you, Jenny, again for joining us. One of the questions, since you participated in the summer 2017 program under the Trump administration, you know, what was going through your mind? How did you feel back then, and how do you feel now after having participated in the program?
Well, back then, obviously due to it being always a risk of being taken away and all that, it was risky and it was fearful, and your head just thinks about a lot of things. What if I'm there and they take it out and then I can't come back? I don't see my family no more. I don't come back here, and then I get to be stuck over there where I don't know it. I don't know much. So it's a lot of thinking when it comes to risking and stuff. But now I will say that I'm thankful that I took the risk, because if I wouldn't have taken the risk, I wouldn't have enjoyed everything I enjoyed and learned everything that I learned.
What did the program mean to you? Like what did you take away from it? You know, what is something or that you took away from that program?
The program took for me it gave me the gift, I will say, or privilege, or how would I put it? Just the happiness to be able to go back to a country that you were born in, that you haven't seen for years. Literally, I hadn't been there for like 20 years. The possibility to give my grandma the gift of seeing me over there, because she came to visit us, but she always wanted me to go over there. Unfortunately, she did passed away about 2 years. So if I wouldn't have taken that chance, I would have not had the opportunity to surprise her and to see a lot of family members that I saw and saw where you were born. It was an incredible sensation, incredible thing to step where you stepped as a little girl. And I even remember telling myself as a little girl walking away from my house and coming over here, would I ever see you again, or would this be a total goodbye forever? And going back, it was a good experience. Not only that, the program was really helpful because you get to open once you do the activities, you get to open yourself to, let's say something bad were to happen between the trip or the stress that you're coping with a bit, being scared not to come back. The program was really helpful at supporting us, and you got to see a lot of DACA recipients that are also on your same story, and you get to hear the stories, and you get to cry, you get to be happy, you get to open up yourself and meet a lot of DACA. Because for a while I thought that, am I the only one going through hardships? Am I the only one dealing with this? And no, you find out that a lot of people have feel the same way you have or dealing with a lot. So it's a awesome experience that I'm glad I took the risk for, because I can't say one bad thing of it. It was everything of it was just amazing.
And now that you mentioned the program, we do, for the people who are hearing us, we do implement psychological sessions, group therapy sessions within either prior to taking off and also before we come back to the United States. Was that something helpful to you? Can you talk about those?
Yes, it is, because sometimes for me it was kind of hard, because when you go back, oh, it's beautiful and everything, but for me I was stuck in like a certain memory that I wish to go back to, but obviously you forget that time has passed by. People that you wanted to see are not there anymore, so you get to unfortunately go see their graves. Your house obviously does not look the way you look that you remember, and sometimes maybe you expect for your family members to be all happy they saw you or that everything, and then sometimes they might not have time for you, and so it can be a lot of stressful ways in those type of feelings. And that's why I'm saying that those therapies and everything help you out, because whatever, I mean, just for me, it's hard to go to a grave on someone that I wish I would have saw alive. For instance, let's say that if I were to go back, it's gonna be really painful to see my grandma's house empty and have to go see her grave. So I think that for those reasons, the therapy helps a lot, because you can open up, they can hear you and help you out in ways to cope with it, in ways to say that it's okay, that you're not the only one that's dealing with it, and you get to hear other people's stories and familiarize yourself with them and also be there for them, and it's helpful that other people can be supportive and helpful, and they hear you and they tell you some advice, I don't know, to help you cope with it. Or so it's really helpful in that sense, that it just lets you let it out, and you don't have to bottle it up and keep it to yourself or have no one hear you.
Thank you for sharing. One last question. What would you say to people who have not applied to this program, who have never, even traveled with advanced parole? What would you say to them for those who are interested now?
I would say to take the risk. Of course, being fearful and scared, I was at the beginning, and I kept praying. And to be honest, one thing that this program also taught me is to have faith, to believe on yourself, and to obviously trust in God. And that's what I did. And it happened. It all went good. It went awesome. And I will say to take the risk. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Risking yourself can get you to a lot of places. It can get you the best opportunities of your life and open a lot of doors for you. If you don't risk it, you don't know. And stay with that. What if I would have done it? What if, like, for example, like I was saying, unfortunately, my grandma passed away. So now I don't have to say, what if I would have gone? I did have the opportunity and I didn't take it. I could fully, proudly say that that was a gift that I gave her and she was really happy. And I'm glad I did it, because if I wouldn't have taken that opportunity, now I probably wouldn't have enjoyed what I did and saw her.
All right. Thank you
And
so much. Thank you
so I
so
would
much
say,
for participating and for sharing your story. And with people, we know that takes a lot of time, a lot of courage to do that before a lot of people. So thank you, Jenny. Thank you for having us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank
thank
you.
you.
All right, bye.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So, Jenny, like I mentioned, she was part of the summer 2017 study abroad program with us, with the California Mexico Study Center. We're gonna continue answering questions because I know that you guys are engaging right now, and we want to make sure that we're answering your questions.
Yes, but before we do that, I just want to remind you all to please check the. We're gonna share the link to the website and to the frequently asked questions, because the majority of the questions are already there, and also all the information that you can find is on that website. We're gonna be sharing that link.
Perfect.
Go ahead.
Okay, so moving on to our next question. It says by Wendy, is there a way to get help to pay for this? And thanks. So to answer your question right now, we currently are not able to provide any fee waivers. However, if you are able to find, somebody to pay for you, or we do encourage you to seek donations for this program. But we are not able to provide a fee waiver on our end right now. The next question is from Joe Lopez. He said, so we meet up in Mexico City, is that right? We will be meeting in Mexico City. However, the travel, you will be leaving, the US into your state or your birthplace, because during the first week, 2 weeks, it is independent travel. After that, we will all meet together in Mexico City. He also asked, is that flight counted in the $3,000, or is that trip coming out of our pockets? The flights are not included. You are supposed to pay for your own travel expenses during that time. And like Vidi mentioned, everything is in our website. It is in the FAQ section. So please go ahead and check it out. Everything is there if you guys need more info. Another question we have is from Alexia Diaz. It says, has anybody that left on advanced parole had any issues when renewing later on?
Not as far as we know, from the trip and all the people, over 160 DACA recipients who have participated in our program. We have not heard any issues. And myself, as I've said, I've traveled multiple times and I have not had any issues renewing my DACA.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, it says, do you guys do advanced parole? Do you offer this service for study abroad programs from universities like UCLA? This study abroad program, we did do a collaboration with Cal State Long Beach. However, if you want to study abroad with your university, you can also apply for advanced parole, to travel with whatever program they have.
Yes, but also I do want to mention something that throughout all the programs that we have done, we have always tried and encouraged people and provided a model for people to replicate this program at their own university and college. And actually, we were in the middle of working with other universities to implement the same program at the time when DACA was rescinded back in 2017. So we could not, those programs could not take off, but we're definitely building that leadership, encouraging participants to build their own program.
Okay, I see another question from Gueda Abril Pacheco. Most of the questions here that I see have been answered already. One of them says, are we staying with the host family at our birthplace? No, during that time, you are arranging your own travel to your birthplace, like I said. Those first 2 weeks are not required. However, if you would like to go during those 2 weeks and meet with your family and be there, that is up to you. That is your choice. However, we will be meeting all together, like I mentioned, on January 8th. So January 8th is when you have to be there with the group, and that's when everything else, will be organized. The first 2 weeks, like I mentioned, are on your own.
And once you're with the group again in Mexico City area, and then we go to the Select Frady Institute in Cuernavaca, that's where you actually stay with host families. You'll get a chance to interact with Mexican host families.
Okay, Richard Fernandez had a question. Does the program require COVID testing before travel?
Yes.
Are we able to, so yes, that we are gonna require the testing before you travel. Are we able to utilize program fees and such as education expenses for tax purposes? I don't know.
Actually, that this is a educational program, and we can provide any type of letter of support that you may need to justify your educational expenses. So my answer will be yes.
Okay. Is the program expected to be available next year? If so, again in winter or some other season in 2021?
Most likely summer and winter, but at least summer, because it takes about 6 months of preparation.
We have another question from Larissa Contreras. She is saying, so if I wanted to only travel by myself to visit my family from December 20 to January 7th, I could do that?
Yes.
No.
Wait, so
No.
does she mean like travel
She
by
can
herself?
do that by herself, yes,
Yes.
but you have to be part of
Of
the
the
program.
program.
You will
Mhm.
sign a contract, an agreement that you will participate in all the program activities. Now, if you happen to decide not to participate in the program anymore, then you will not come back with a group, and you will also not be refunded the application, the program fee.
Thank you. The next question is from Carlos Eduardo. He says, in the event that as a group or an individual is denied entry for some reason, what protocols will be followed? Thank you.
Yes, we have a working relationship with the U.S., with the Mexican embassy in the U.S., and also with Representatives Lou Correa and also Alan Lowenthal, and also Kamala Harris' office. Given our advocacy in D.C., we have built these relationships and we can call upon them.
The Border Patrol.
And also the Border Patrol. So thank you for bringing that up, Citlali. So for the past program that we did in the summer 2017, we actually returned through the Tijuana San Isidro port of entry, Penn West. We have already made contacts with the special cases agents, and we have a good working relationship with them, and that's with whom we usually handle all the people coming back. This is important to mention that even last year, 4 DACA recipients who had no advance parole accidentally crossed the border to Mexico when they were trying to get to Friendship Park? Mm-hmm. Friendship Park in San Diego, and they crossed the border, they got to Mexico, they did not have an advance parole, and we were able to help them through that special cases agency. So we have a lot of trust that we're gonna try to do everything we can to bring everybody back.
Okay, thank you. And then the next question is, are there any parents that can join the program?
No. This is unless they have DACA.
If they're DACA recipient, if you're a DACA recipient, you're a parent, you would like to join, I think that's okay. However, we're not really doing like a lot of traveling in families.
Yes.
This is mainly, like for an individual experience.
Now, if your parents have a legal status and they decide to join you during the time of independent travel, wherever you're from, then yes, of course, you can, meet up with your parents. But as part of being a participant, you can only be a DACA recipient.
Okay, the next question is from Alexia. If we pay the $500 and COVID cancels the trip, will our initial deposit cover the summer when we reapply?
That's a good question.
The $500?
The 500, no,
Those
that's
are
not refundable.
The $500 are non-refundable. That is, costs that is, for obviously the staff time, but also because we are helping, filling out your application. We are going to be assisting you throughout the whole process of the application. So the $500 are non-refundable. And then we said after your advanced parole application is accepted, that's when you will pay the rest of the money. If your application is not accepted, then you will not have to pay obviously anything else.
Let's do about 2 questions more, and then we can share the screen to go over the program,
The
because
program,
a lot of questions are already stated there, but people perhaps have not seen the website.
Okay, so we're just gonna go with 2 more questions. One of them is from Francisco and one of them is from Leah. So from Francisco, will there be financial aid for the expenses of the trip? So we've actually already answered this question. We are not able to offer any fee waivers or financial aid. However, we encourage you to look for donors, obviously outside of the program. And then the next question is, can you guys provide a letter to our job if they requested to grant time off? Yes, we can provide any letters that you need. Please let us know if you applied with our program and we can provide that. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and continue. We will be answering more questions later on, so please stay tuned. I see a lot of questions and we will be going through them as well.
Okay, so I'm gonna share the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna go over, hopefully you can hear us well. Yeah, you shouldn't have any problems. We're gonna go over the program cost and the different, categories and things. So the program fee has increased because of the COVID-19 preparations that we have to do in Mexico as well as here. For example, traveling before, we used to travel in one bus, and now it's most likely gonna be 2, depending on distancing and et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of accommodations that need to be taken into account before we actually go to Mexico. So that's why the fee it has increased to $3,000. And within those $3,000 fee, there is a $500 non-refundable deposit, which we were talking already about, and that is non-refundable, and you have to pay that at the time when you get accepted into our program and you agree to participate. And then the rest of the fee, which is the $2,500, that will be paid after your advanced parole application has been approved. At the time when that happens. And also we have the $575 fee for the advanced parole application. That is separate to the program fee. So you have to come up with that on your own. And that has to be paid directly to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security for your processing of the application. And then here, this is something that somebody asked is, what is your budget for independent traveling, et cetera, et cetera. We are estimating $1,000 that you will need for your independent travels and food and any other transportation needs that you might need during the time from December 15 to January 7th, when you pretty much are free to go within Mexico and other countries. Let me emphasize that also. I'm actually from El Salvador, and as part of this program, I had the chance to go back to El Salvador to do my independent research. So if there's any applicant who is from another country and wishes to go to that other country, you will have a chance to do so during this time. But again, you have to pay for your own travel expenses.
I know there was a question that someone asked that they're from, I believe, Guatemala. So for the arrangements, the travel arrangements, were you able to just make them in regards of like going to Mexico first and then traveling to El Salvador? You just made it like that? Because I know that there was somebody asking that.
Yes. So in my case, in the previous programs, I did arrange to go from the US to Mexico, and then because we had to do 3 days in Mexico of activities, and then from Mexico, I took off to El Salvador. But this time around is going to be different. So because the program actually starts until January 7th, you will have the chance to travel directly from the US to your destination. So to Guatemala, to Ecuador, or wherever you're from.
I just want to clarify that I'm answering questions.
Okay, and also Citlali is answering a couple questions on the comment section as well. And then we have the eligibility requirements, and we have what's included in the program fee. We want to clarify that. So the legal assistance and preparation of the advanced parole applications is covered by the program fee. So you don't have to go seek for another lawyer or an attorney or somebody to help you file the application, because we will provide that assistance and also documentations to support your application, like letters of support from the CMSC, from there is another one from the institution in Mexico, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to provide all the documentation that you need to support your application. And also the instruction at the CILAC Freire Institute in Mexico, that's covered there. Also, any housing, meals, field trips, and travel insurance during the program dates are also going to be covered in the Mexico City, Cuernavaca area, and coming back to the Tijuana border crossing. And then the homestay experience in Cuernavaca, that's going to be covered as well. They're going to provide food and a place to stay, et cetera, et cetera. Local transportation and lawful re-entry to the United States, and also a chance for dreamers to visit the birthplace. All of that is covered in the application program fee. Anything else? Well, application requirements, Mayra or Stella, you want to go over those real quick?
Okay, so in order for you to apply, So in order for you to apply, you have to complete and submit the online application form. I know one of you guys actually asked if you need to submit your letter of recommendation as you're applying. You don't need it. You can just go ahead and apply. Once you submit, then you'll need your letter of recommendation, which you must have, I believe, by when was the deadline for the letter of recommendation?
July 31st.
Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure. Yeah, so you'll need it by July 31st, and you need this in order for you to go ahead and schedule your first interview. So if you really want to apply, you have to be a DACA recipient. You have to be at least 21 years old to apply. Another thing that you also need would be for you to have your DACA your DACA has to be active. Definitely, if you're coming close to your DACA expiring, you may have to make sure you have to renew it within the time that we will be traveling, because I know there is a lot of people that actually did apply, but they already are in the process of renewal. Another thing that is really important for us, if you do want to be applying, is to make sure that you have your documentation that we ask for, which would be a current passport. So your passport has to be valid. And if you don't have a current passport, you can it's really easy to file for one. And we do need your INE ID card, which is credencial para votar en el extranjero. So that's only for the purpose of us having an identification when you are in Mexico. That's one of the things that has been required for the program, just because you kind of want to blend in. You want to we don't want you to take your documentation, like your DACA employment card, because what if you lose it? So we want to take that chance.
Yes.
So that's one of the most important things. You can have a criminal record. You must not have no criminal record or immigration record. This is for the safety of you. We want to make sure that we're not putting you into any type of danger. USCIS will be accepting your application, but why would we want to put you in that type of danger when we're crossing back and they pull up your file and then they see that you have a type of criminal record? They will not allow you back in. Unfortunately, they're looking for any type of reason for them to keep you, so we will not want to put you in any type of danger. And of course, to be able to have the $3,000 fee, as well as a $575 for advanced parole travel fee.
Yes, and also one clarification I want to make on the INE credential. That is only for Mexican nationals. Mm-hmm. So if you are somebody else from other country other than Mexico, you do not need to get one of these cards, because it will not apply to you. And part of the reason why, as Mayra mentioned, part of the reason why we're getting this is because you don't want to risk your own US documents that are very important for you to come back, right? So whenever we go to museum visits anywhere and people ask you for identification, you can just have your INE card instead of your DACA card or your passport or something like that. And your matriculas, unfortunately, don't really work in Mexico. So if you have like a matricula right now, it's not going to work. They don't even know what that is. They don't even know what it is. So please do yourself a favor and actually, get your INE card. We're going to give you instructions on how to do that. Okay, so you can feel free to look at the website. There's a lot of information there. There's the application page. And then there's some breakdowns of anticipated deadlines. I'm gonna just quickly go over those because they're important. So the application deadline to submit your online form And also your letter of recommendation is July 31st. So that is literally in 9 days. So please get to it if you're interested in this program. The other, well, this is already happening right now as we speak, the Facebook Live information session. Yes, and this will be available later after we're done with this info session. And then we are actually doing interviews already with those people who have already applied and submitted their application and also their letters of recommendation. We're scheduling interviews to determine whether or not you are fit to go, in the sense of, you know, having no legal background, no nothing on your background that will prevent you from coming back. So we have to do one-on-one interviews with you, with every single one of the participants. And then we make a decision and you accept your decision by August 15. We'll be sending out notifications. You have been accepted, or unfortunately you have been disqualified because of these reasons, et cetera, et cetera. So then after that, we are giving ourselves from August 15 to September 15 to do all the preparations for advanced pro applications. And we're gonna wait until that day, hoping that USCIS will have already updated their website and that we can send our applications in. And if nothing happens, then we're gonna keep on waiting, but we're gonna have everything ready to go because we care about the safety of each participant. And then we plan to have different sessions, program orientations, and all of these things, but once you have been accepted. So that's all I'm gonna say about this. And then we also have a section of frequently asked questions. Please visit this. We have covered in detail most of the questions that people are asking. So you can look at these questions as well. We don't wanna go over them all of them at once, but you know, we're gonna be answering a couple more questions that Citrali has.
Okay, so I've also been answering questions in the comments. Some of them are a little simple. There's a couple that we want to talk about, and we have, for example, the question from Rol Vivar. Can you talk about the process when crossing back into the U.S.? So I'll go ahead and let Lily share that.
Yes. So before, usually the night before, we get together with a group of psychologists and we do a group therapy session. We talk about how we're feeling. We address whatever, you know, anxiety, fears, and any kind of emotions that we're dealing with at the moment to just, you know, release, you know. So that's what we do as a group first. And then on the day of crossing, we ensure that everybody has their proper documentation ready to go. And then we go to the special cases office at the San Isidro Port of Entry, the PED West. And we make sure that we communicate with them prior to the crossing. So they're expecting us and they take us into a separate line and they pretty much process every single individual that is part of our program. Now, at the time that you're actually crossing, you're crossed by yourself, but everybody is in a line. So you're not just in one room by yourself, you know, not knowing what's going to happen because everybody's going through the same process. And then they ask you for your passport, they ask you for your advanced parole permit, and then they look at it, they check on their computer system, blah, 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 in case you have any records. And then they stamp it and they let you go. Last time it was about 5 minutes or so per person until everybody crossed.
Okay, thank you. We hope that answered your question. Then we have another question from Joanna Figueroa. It says, I'm from Guatemala. If I qualify for the program, how can I get to travel from Mexico to Guatemala during the program?
So we kind of addressed that question already. In this program specifically for the Winter 2020 program, you'll get to travel directly from the US to Guatemala. And then from Guatemala, you'll have to come back to Mexico to complete the program. Now that you asked that question, once you have been accepted into the program, you're gonna be talking to me because there will be visas and permits that you might need in order to get to Mexico. As a Salvadoreña, as a Salvadorian person, I do have to have a visa, a Mexican visa, in order to get to Mexico. So those are things that we can discuss individually.
Thank you. Another question is, if I have family from Sari Mendoza, if I have family in Cuernavaca, can I stay with them instead of a host family?
No. You have to be part of the program entirely. So if you have family in Cuernavaca and you decide to go to Cuernavaca during the time frame that everybody is visiting family, yes, you can go with your family and do whatever you need to do. But during the time of the program dates, everybody has to participate in every single activity because it's part of the bonding process.
Okay, and then another very similar question from Kevin. It says, if my family lives in Mexico City, can I stay with them? Again, no, just like Lily answered. Okay, we have a couple more questions. It says, if we test positive in Mexico and are not allowed back into the US in the time frame of our advanced parole, what will happen?
We'll try to work with you. Hopefully that's not going to be the case, but we'll definitely try to work with you. So in the case that you need to return by yourself to the US, we'll be there and we'll make contact with the agency in the San Isidro special cases to make sure that you come back safely.
Thank you. Somebody just said advanced parole. I guess it's a question. Advanced parole for DACA has not been approved yet. What happens? We did cover that question earlier. But for those that are new and are asking, we spoke about the Supreme Court ruling, the Maryland federal court ruling that states that DACA has to be back in place, and that is the same for advanced parole as well. So USCIS is being forced to accept them. However, like we all mentioned, nothing is 100% guaranteed. So you will be applying at your own risk.
And if there's any other questions, also Mayra has to, you can talk about the humanitarian advanced parole assistance program that they're still happening, and you can perhaps talk a little bit more about the beginning of that program.
Okay, so prior we had an advanced parole assistance program, and now we are actually relaunching the program. I know there is a lot of people who maybe are interested in advanced parole, but for urgent humanitarian needs. So we are definitely helping out people who need to travel to their home country and it's an urgent matter. Say a family member is sick or is ill and needs your assistance, we are helping out with that. There is also now, this time around, we do have a $500 assistance fee. Again, for the entire process, just because the application for the advanced parole, when it comes to humanitarian, it is a little bit more lengthy. We do require more documents, but we are providing that help. So we decided to relaunch the program for anybody that actually needs help. If in the case that your family member just passed away, we're helping you file the application, making sure everything is in the application. And we're making sure that, we wait until USCIS does give us like the statement where they are accepting applications as well. But we are testing it out where some of the people are deciding to go into the office. And I know I actually will be doing that myself, going into the office to see if they are personally in office accepting applications. But definitely, if there's anybody who does want to apply for advanced parole for humanitarian reasons, we are helping out with that.
All right.
Any other questions?
Yes. Okay. So we have a question from Carla Sevilla. Hi, what if you're from Mexico but would like to visit another country in South America during independent travel? Is that allowed by USCIS? So to answer your question shortly, the personal travel, independent travel is meant for you to visit your birthplace. So like you mentioned, if you're from Mexico, we do, it's part of the program for you to go visit your birthplace. That is the purpose of this study abroad program. Unless you are obviously from another country, like Lidi from El Salvador, from Guatemala, like mentioned before, we do encourage you to go only visit your birthplace, which is in Mexico.
Yes, and also adding to that question, you are expected to produce an ethnographic project out of this. So you're not just going to go vacationing to another country. You have to really do study onto your own family origins.
All right, we do have more questions. Another question that's very similar. Somebody asked, when is the $500 due? So upon the acceptance into our program, that is when the $500 non-refundable deposit is due, and that is when we will start working with you to fill in your application. It's another question from Paula Alejandro. If you were approved for the Winters Program 2017, do you need to submit the application again?
Yes, that was
Yes.
Paula. ¿Cómo se llama?
Alejandro.
Paula Alejandro. Wow, shout out to you. I was actually part of the winter 2017 program, and I know all of our applications were administratively closed. And just like myself, you would also be resubmitting an entire new application. You have to go through the process all over again. So yeah, that's how that's gonna work. There's
Yes.
actually a lot of participants from winter 2017 who are reapplying again.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to, if you apply, I can't wait to meet you because we're part of that group.
And also, you do have to submit your application again, but you do not have to submit letters of recommendation. Since
If you're
you've
from the
already
network,
submitted,
yeah.
if you've already submitted them during that process, you don't no longer have to do it. Okay, so now moving on to our next question. A question from Brenda. She says, so when we fly to Mexico, we are not meeting until the 8th. Yes, that is correct. Before the 8th, December 15th through the 7th, it is independent travel to visit your birthplace. So until the 8th, that's when it's required. That's when we're all meeting together.
Also, hi Brenda. She went to Washington D.C. with us.
All right. Another question says, are us three, do we have DACA and are we going? Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
and we are going.
Yes.
Woo!
Yes, we are applying. We are in the process, just like all of you. I'm trying to get my passport, my ENIC, because I see a lot of questions about that. I am trying to do that as well. So that is required for the application. I want to answer a question that I saw earlier that says that the consulados are, packed right now or the appointments are being limited. I just want to let you know that we are all doing that same process. So if you are interested, we encourage you to do that ASAP.
Yes.
Yes, and also even before you apply, or if you don't apply, I would say just renew your passport, have it ready for any emergency.
All right, a question from Adriana. It says, given that you are extending the time frame in the advanced parole application, can we use the same permit to visit Mexico after the program?
No, our application will be a single entry advance parole, and once you use it and come back, you cannot go back again.
All right. A question from Lily Maldonado. It says, are USCIS offices closed right now? Do we apply for advanced parole before or after being accepted?
After being accepted, we'll
Into the
guide you
program.
through the process and you'll apply.
All right. And then yes, you need your passport and ENIC card for Pedro. You need that. I'm sorry, I'm reading another one. Would a Mexican? Okay. From Dalucios, would a Mexican passport work as an identification in Mexico in case I'm unable to get ENIC card? A passport does work as identification. However, we do want you to carry your
want you
ENIC.
to lose your passport.
Because we don't want you to lose your passport, and we want you to have that ENIC card available to you so you can put all other documents away. You don't have to have your DACA out. We want you to use the ENIC as identification.
Didn't one of
Yes.
the participants from the past
Actually,
get their stuff is stolen?
That happened. Actually, yes, somebody got their stuff, everything, their advance parole, their DACA permit, their ID, their license, everything. They got stolen, so we had to help that person, and everything worked out through their connections that we have with the San Isidro Ped West agency. But yeah, please, that's not ideal.
All right. One
And
more
it's
question.
free. The IND is free.
All right. So Brenda's saying, so once we do the interview, can we start the advanced pro application? Yes. Right after we do your interview, Brenda, since you were already part of our network, you don't have to submit a letter of recommendation. We can go ahead and start with your application as long as you have your passport and your ENIC. And for everybody else, as soon as you submit your letter of recommendation, we can go ahead and start doing your application and doing all of that stuff.
Yes, and time check. We have 3 more minutes. Are there any
All
other
right,
questions?
There's a lot of questions. I will go ahead and be answering questions in the comments as well because we only have 3 more minutes, I think. But let's see. I guess I can choose 3 more questions that we have here. Suriel Espinosa is saying, when is the ethnographic report due?
That will be after coming back. We'll set a date after coming back.
For a lot of the questions, I did let you know to please email info@calmexcenter.org. A lot of them are very specific questions, and we will work with you if you have any problems, or any other questions that are very specific to your case. Please feel free to email us. I don't know if you want to drop the email in the comments so they can also check us out.
Pedro Leon asks, when do you tell people if they have been accepted?
By August 15, the
I did
latest.
let you know to please email info@Calmexcenter.
And let's see. Hi, what if you're from Lisa? When will there
Oh,
be
they're
a
saying
next?
that our
When
thing
will
is
there
frozen.
be a next Advanced Pro? What do you mean by when
Oh,
will there be? Oh yeah.
Okay, awesome. So maybe 2 more minutes because this thing is also has a limit.
Yeah, and they're telling us that it's freezing, so I don't even know if they can hear us right now.
Yes.
Oh yeah, when will there be a next advanced parole? We possibly will do the program again next year if it's successful.
Do they still have a lot of spots left? Yes. Go ahead and apply. We are accepting applications until July 31st.
And then Janet Trejo said, you mentioned that we would be guided through the process. Who is guiding us? An attorney? Question mark. So throughout the process, we are going to be helping you file your advanced parole application. We do have attorneys that we are working with. If there is any problem with you or with your application, whether it's regarding, if we have questions, whether you're safe or not to travel, and all of that, we do, have a network of professional people that we are working with to ensure that you are safe to travel and to ensure that everything is properly done.
Yes.
Yo Soy Liz says, at some point, if they're in their requirements, says that if you applied before you have previously submitted an LOR, you don't need them again.
No.
So yeah, you don't need it. So if you're part of our network, you have applied for this program prior or have been a participant of the DC programs, then you don't need it.
All right. And then somebody else is saying, what is the purpose of writing the paper? Remember, this is an educational study abroad program. It is for educational purposes. It is as if you were doing a program with any school, any university, they do require you to write papers. That is educational purpose.
But it's not only just to write, it's also something for you to keep. And also we have a growing collection of reflections in papers from previous participants that we plan to publish in a book at some point or another, given the permission that people, are okay with that. But also this project can be in various forms, like for example, a video project because I love videos.
Yes.
I'm just advocating for the media people, y'all. Okay, so anyway, so thank you. Any other last questions before we close out?
There is a couple. One of them got 3 likes, so I just want to answer it. It says, what are the probabilities of getting accepted into the program? That we want to welcome as many people as possible. So as long as everything, we conduct the interview properly and everything is correct, no criminal background, it's most likely that you will be accepted. So please apply. The interview process is very simple, and everything else. So we are just encouraging everybody to apply. So
it's only like a 30-minute interview via Zoom. So
Yes.
It's really simple.
But also we are looking for people who are committed, to take leadership, really, because we need leadership right now, especially coming from us in our community. In November, obviously, the elections are coming up, and we do need people who are willing, to take commitment and to take leadership into things, because otherwise we're going to be stuck in these situations forever, and we need to change an immigration reform at one point or another through, elections and stuff like that. Anyway, so that's that. If there are no more questions, please visit our website and also subscribe to our email, our newsletter, El Magonista. Special shout out to Profe and his El Magonista newsletter. Well, you can hear more about updates about this program, and like us on Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, and we're not on Snapchat anymore. But
but let us know if you want another Facebook Live.
Yes.
Because I know there's a lot of questions that I don't even know if we got to all of them, but there's a lot. So please let us know if you want another Facebook Live in the comment section. Stay tuned and email us, comment on our posts. We will try to be as active as possible. Right now it is very, very difficult because there's a lot of people, but we will try our best. So if you want another Facebook Live for a Q&A, just let us know.
And check out the FAQ on the website because there's a lot of answers to you guys' questions there.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Okay. And